give away awards. I always try and, you know, I didn't do that so much this tour just because we were going. You know, I'd certainly give Betty an Adventurer's Award for her, you know, seeing the inside of an embassy. For, you know, many of us have never seen one, but Betty certainly gets that. Yeah. I am overly delighted that my in-laws got to come and be with us on this tour. Many of you may not know that this was Bobby's first time in a choir ever. So his first concert was Evensong, so that was quite a baptism there, wasn't it? And many of you have told me you have enjoyed getting to know my mother-in-law and Bobby. You've heard me talk about Bobby a lot. You know, Bobby's a great model for me because, you know, he's a dad of daughters, and he likes Star Trek, and so he's just a good guy. He's also pure Texan. I mean, as good as you get. So April, the minute we got on the plane, decided that she would just record a bit of Bobby all along the trip because they're really priceless. We may publish these at some time, but so these are some of the things that Bobby has said this week that I think you need to hear. And because I'm apparently an expert at dialects, I will do my best West Texas big country accent. One of the first things he said when we were at the airport, when we were ready to fly out, he said, "Well, I gotta bring my boots, because how else are they gonna know I'm from Texas?" And it's true, because no one would ever know from even just looking at Bobby that he was from anywhere. So we're in the air, and he says, "Are you sure we're going the right way?" He was very confused about what's the speed of sound at 34,000 feet. That perplexed him the whole time we were going through customs. That just don't make no sense at all. The pilot gave him an answer, and he just refused to believe me. The pilot must have been lying. Every time we would go into a chapel or a cathedral, and I knew this about Bobby because he's one of these guys that you got to convince him to do something. He'd walk out. That's amazing. This, again, I think guns is illegal here. He follows that up with, what if somebody needs to be shot? You can take a man out of Texas, but you cannot take the Texas out of the man. He says, when in Rome, have some ketchup. So, we're in the British National Gallery, and he says, "Diane, you could paint some of these." I agree. Still in that whole wing of the most beautiful impressionistic painting on the planet, and he says, "Monet, Suzette, whatever." So he looks at these frames. Some of these frames are just incredibly large, and he says they make them big so they're harder to steal. Commenting on the weather, he says, "Man, if you lived here, your car'd always be dirty." Now, one of the things completely lost in translation, anyone who speaks the Queen's English, it is lost on Bobby, and it's not because he doesn't try, it's just because he just can't get there. So, one of the first days, Adrian said that Americans are girlless. Bobby says, "Girlless? I don't believe I ever heard that word before." I said, "Girlless. You're girlless, Bobby. I'm girl-less." Yes, Bobby, that's what you are. If you know anything about my father-in-law, he loves anything with wheels. However, he comments, I haven't seen any Harleys over here yet. Now, I really have nothing to say here because I'm as bad because I don't know any of the staff that I work with, their names. They're all Rachel or April but Bobby has really enjoyed getting to sit by Jose. He said that Jose's really good. So I tell you, sitting by that Jose really helps. Yes, we all think Jose's really good too. So, sitting at the front of the bus, we get to see a lot of the things before you do. And right now, Richard, he's doing it. He's pointing out a bird, or he's pointing out a bush, or he's pointing out a plant. And all along, Richard's been pointing out something ornithological or agricultural, and my father-in-law has been pointing out the semis. Man, them bobtails is 40 feet long. Yes, wasn't crazy about the traffic in London, wasn't crazy about any of the driving from here to there. He said, man, if this was a Google map, the whole nation would probably be one big red line. Somebody apparently honked at us. He said, oh, quit honking, we're bigger than you. Driving into Scotland, it was raining. He says, and this is Bob, you got to know, if he's been there 12 seconds, he's an expert at wherever he's been. He says, reminds me of Arkansas. If there's a cloud in the sky, rain's coming from it. It has been a real stress to many of you that they don't have any washcloths. They don't have any face cloths in the hotels. Can you believe they don't have no washcloths in the hotel? Washcloths in the hotels? I think wash, that's what I said. So again, as Bobby was pointing out some car, Richard pointed out that there was an apple tree along the side of the road. And apple trees just grow wild. Apples is free. That'll cut down on your food costs. And of course, just recently, you don't have any pickups here. So, life is an adventure in our household, and we are so grateful that Bobby could be here. If you didn't get to know him, it's certainly your loss.
Love you, Bobby. Texas all the way.
Way to go, Aaron. That was fantastic.
I know I was going to be here.